Prepare to grip the edge of your seat with Netflix's top 10 horror thrillers. From relentless suspense to shocking twists, these chilling picks blur the line between fear and adrenaline. Number 10. Unfriended.
I'm signing off.
No, he'll kill you.
I have a gun, you hear me?
Why is he counting down?
When a group of teens gathers for a routine Skype hangout, their late classmate, who died by suicide a year earlier, unexpectedly crashes their call through an unseen account, turning their chat room into a digital seance. At first, they dismiss it as a prank, but as private messages surface and secrets are weaponized, the screen becomes a portal through which someone too familiar and unwilling to stay gone wields vengeance. Each notification, every typing, bubble becomes a pulse of terror as the boundary between online anonymity and real-life consequences shatters under the weight of guilt and unresolved grief. Unfriended is a chilling screen-life horror that transforms the familiar into a trap. Number 9. iHostage.
You kill me, and then what?
Then they win, and they lose.
What starts as a routine trip to replace lost AirPods spirals into a heart-stopping siege when Amar storms into Amsterdam's Apple Store, shattering calm with a demand for 200 million euros in cryptocurrency and turning shoppers into hostages of chance. Ilian, the unsuspecting customer, is thrust into a 5-hour standoff that fractures time and trust. Lives tracked by negotiation chatter, gunshots, the faint click of a phone, the flash of hidden fear. As the tense standoff unfolds, the narrative weaves through the perspectives of the hostage, the police negotiator Lin, and the gunman himself, laying bare desperation, survival instinct, and fragile humanity. Every stolen glance, every muted cry turns an ultra-modern storefront into a crucible of hope and horror. Number 8. Killing Ground.
I'm a hunter.
A planned romantic New Year's Eve camping trip for Ian and Sam along a secluded Australian shoreline morphs into a nightmare when they stumble upon an abandoned tent and a toddler alone in the bush, fragments of a crime hidden in daylight. What begins as subtle disquiet becomes a collision of timelines, fear and violence overlapping like ghostly echoes in the forest. The quiet beauty of the outback concealing something rotten beneath the leaves. Flashbacks unravel what happened to the vanished family before the couple's arrival, weaving suspense through fractured sequences that trap both characters and audience in a web of mounting terror. Every rustle of leaves, every distant glimpse beyond the campfire forces you to question what's already happened and what still lies ahead. Number 7. The Ones Below.
I love you, baby.
Someone was here.
I need to leave that house.
A pair expecting their first child welcomes their downstairs neighbors, also expecting into what seems like gentle suburban tranquility, until a dinner invitation fractures everything into silent menace. Kate's polite attempts at empathy and small talk gradually ripple into doubt, even paranoia, as minor oddities, a misplaced note, a lullaby out of place, lingering stares, begin to feel part of a calculated undercurrent. As boundaries blur, the nursery above and below become a silent battleground, filled with stolen touches and whispered intentions that point to something deeply unmoored beneath the veneer of normalcy. Trust unravels quietly, and each gesture reveals the fearful possibility that someone's need eclipses another's right. Number 6. Disappear completely. A callous tabloid photographer, Santiago, becomes the unwitting center of a supernatural reckoning after a grisly crime scene capture. Gradually losing each of his 5 senses to a curse he can neither see nor escape. What begins as a relentless pursuit of the next sensational shot mutates into a visceral descent. Sensations fade, reality warps, and every sight, sound, and touch slips like sand through his grasp. His ambition turns into helplessness as he scrambles for a way out, racing against the erosion of his humanity, every fragile moment amplified by the collapse of his own perception. Disappear Completely is a chilling folk horror thriller that filters the world through eroding senses, directed by Luis Javier Henane, whose stark visuals and immersive sound design sink you into a slow, irreversible unraveling. Number 5. A Widow's Game.
¿Cómo estás?
Pienso en Arturo.
When a man is found dead in a garage in Valencia, the facade of a grieving widow fractures under the scrutiny of a determined homicide detective. And soon the line between mourning and manipulation blurs with chilling clarity. Inspector Eva peels back the veneer of sorrow to reveal Maria Jesus, known as Maj, whose composed performance hides a life riddled with deception. Through whispers of abuse, hidden affairs, and a calculated web of lies, Maje manipulates a trusted colleague into committing murder, turning love, lust, and trust into elegant weapons. Each suspected text message and stolen glance electrifies the investigation as control becomes indistinguishable from betrayal and grief morphs into a crime of passion. Number 4. I Came By.
I really tried to be kind, but I had this rage.
A rebellious graffiti artist breaks into the homes of London's elite, leaving behind his signature tag, and discovers a violent secret buried beneath the surface of privilege. What begins as anti-establishment art turns into a desperate fight for justice when he unearths a hidden captive and the sinister truths they both are forced to hide. As loyalties crack and alliances unravel, each clandestine conversation and coded tag becomes a pulse of fear in a city that prides itself on civility. The line between activism and vengeance blurs, and intimacy fades into betrayal under the weight of secrets. The film is a taut British crime thriller that turns graffiti into an act of resistance. Number 3. Kiss the Girls.
This is the most ambitious stunt in serial pathology. This guy's Houdini squared. I think our guy's a little different.
A relentless hunt unfolds when forensic psychologist Alex Cross travels to North Carolina after his niece vanishes among a string of missing young women, ensnared by a killer who calls himself Casanova. As he teams up with Kate McTiernan, who escapes the same predator's underground lair, their investigation becomes a twisted chase through shattered trust, concealed identities, and the corridors of evil disguised in daylight. Every clue, whispered confession, and tenuous alliance pushes them closer to a fractured truth, where the hunter becomes bound by the very labyrinth he's trying to escape. The narrative pulses with psychological tension rather than gore, making the unraveling all the more chilling. Number 2, The Girl with All the Gifts.
The world is falling apart. You can save people, Melanie.
In a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by a fungal plague that transforms most of humanity into ravenous husks, only a small group of infected children, retaining intelligence and emotion, are spared for study and survival. Among them, Melanie stands apart, her curious eyes holding the balance between humanity and monstrosity. When the fragile fortress of control collapses, she and her teacher, armed with empathy and elastic hope, embark on a desperate journey across a broken land. Every step whispered with longing, each survival tactic, reluctant alliance, and fleeting bond, lights a spark in the ruins of civilization. It's a tale of metamorphosis, not just of a girl, but of what it means to be human when the world around you crumbles. The film is a haunting science fiction horror thriller that redefines zombie terror through empathy and evolution. Number 1. Tell No One.
Margot!
Est-ce qu'il vous est déjà arrivé de frapper votre femme?
On me surveille plus.
A grief-stricken pediatrician 8 years after his wife Margot's brutal murder receives an email containing footage that refuses to stay buried. With Margot alive, moving and hauntingly present before his eyes. As Alexandra Beck becomes ensnared in a resurgence of suspicion, bodies unearthed by the lake and creeping criminal intent claw at the edges of his fragile hope. Every whispered clue, shadowed glance, and distant memory bends the line between redemption and ruin, emotion and evidence blurring into one. The pursuit of truth spirals into a breathtaking dance of revelation and illusion, each moment pulling Beck closer to the undercurrents of betrayal and love that never truly died. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Brightburn. A couple adopts a mysterious boy found in a crashed spaceship, believing him to be a miracle, until his superhuman abilities surface, twisted by malice, revealing a terrifying truth. Brandon morphs from seemingly innocent child to power-driven menace, transforming small-town America into a nightmare playground. Old people.
I'm afraid that someday it won't be as perfect as it is now.
A mother returns home with her children for a family wedding, only to witness the horrifying spectacle of elderly residents breaking free and unleashing a bloodthirsty rampage in the midst of a storm. What begins as a routine family gathering devolves into a desperate fight for survival against the unexpected and grotesque. Emily.
Shoot me!
When a stranger impersonates the intended babysitter and enters a family home under friendly pretenses. The three children soon discover something is dangerously wrong. Emily toys with them, pushing norms and boundaries with unnerving precision while they fight for their safety. The stepfather. Michael Harding returns home to find his recently remarried mother living happily with a new man who seems perfect. Too perfect. But as Michael's suspicions mount, he uncovers a chilling identity and a pattern of lethal deception lurking behind the facade of domestic bliss.